same result.
The same.
I don't know about I don't know if I remember the working one.
And given that you're working in real estate and you run a very powerful company, what would be the first thing you think would have to change to start addressing the gap? Because I'm sure there still are gaps in terms of gender parity in the workplace, despite what you've just said.
I mean, in our company, the senior management, it's naturally 50-50. Actually, it wasn't because of deliberate, not like the Prime Minister had a quota, 50-50. It just happened that way. And of course, the company is run by me and my husband, 50-50 partnership. So that, and then some jobs are more for men, like construction jobs, engineers going around the construction. You don't really get so many women who want to do that job. But also there's some jobs like sales are naturally women. So I think it's just, if you do not have the bias and prejudice, and you just leave it to the natural choice, you probably would end up 50-50.
I don't know, I have to disagree with that. One of the challenges we have in Canada is there's a lot of young people wanting to go into the trades, and yes, yeah, right now there are a few more men than women, but you see a tremendous amount of young women who are excited about, I mean, I went to a group of welders at one point, and one was proud to wear a pink helmet, and then I talked to her, and she was actually the only one taking the underwater welding course. She was the only one pushing herself further and harder than everyone else, and all the guys were looking up to her, not just because she was in a non-traditional role, but because she was owning it, and she was excelling, and just, I'd like to get to a point where nobody notices that there might be jobs that more women do or more men do, and just look at qualifications. And in order to do that, we have to be really thoughtful about how we shape society in a deliberate and willful way.
And I would add to that, we need to look at women's time, because if you have the expectation that women want to work and should work and 50-50 in the workforce, you have to also look at their time and where it's spent. There's a huge amount of unpaid labor all over the world. So every single day, if you look at the global statistics, women spend 4.5 more hours than a man every day at home with tasks at home. They are expected to care for the elderly. They're expected to care for the children. If somebody gets sick, if you interview Harvard MBAs 2 years ago, they did this coming out, men and women had the same expectations about working, but when you said, if you choose to get married and have children, who will take the child to the doctor? Both the men and the woman said the woman would leave her job for an hour to go take the child to the doctor. So we have these unwritten expectations of women. So what we have to do is recognize what our expectations are and then redistribute the workload. I love some of the things that Cheryl talks about in Lean In, about you really have to have the conversation inside your own family of what are our roles and expectations and who's going to do what. And if you don't have great policies, not maternal leave policies, but family leave policies, so that a man and a woman can take time off. We know that if a man takes time off at the birth of his child, he spends more time with that child and more time on household chores. That's a redistribution. You want to talk about the country that has it wrong the most? The United States. We need to change this in the United States. We only have 2 states today that have a family leave policy, and even those